What's good, YouTube? So, this part 3 of my schizophrenic episode. This shit kind of crazy. I want to say, too, like, a little goal that I have is, like, if anybody that struggles, like, mental illnesses or anything, just try to reach out to me, bro. I'll be, like, happy to help y'all. Anything like that. But, so I'm going to get where I left off at. So, if y'all haven't watched part 2, go watch it if you want. But, so I walk out the 7-Eleven with my hands up like this, because I think they trying to run me over, like the cop. I think the cops are across the street. I think he's trying to run me over into the store or something. But, so I walk out, and then a lot of this I don't even remember, but I see in on like the body cams. They show me the body cam footage. And hopefully one day I'll be able to post that shit too. It's just, that shit's just complicated too, and it's a bunch of bullshit. But anyways, so I walk out from the 7-Eleven with my hands up like this, because I'm just technically shoplifted for the Snapple tea that I stole, I started drinking out of. So I walk out, and then they pull up, and they don't run me over now, but they pull up, and then the only reason why I remember a lot of this is because of the body cam again. But so they start talking, they keep asking me like, what's my name, and then I just don't even respond. I'm hearing so many voices and stuff that I just don't even respond to nothing. And they just keep asking me what's my name, and then so I just keep staying silent and don't really give them nothing. So then they're like, if you don't tell me your name, you're going to get arrested for shoplifting. And they're like, we don't want to do that. And so I still stay silent. So they're like, okay, we're arresting you. And mind you, I'm still barefooted because I was stepping in glass and shit because I broke the clock on my wall. And I was just in socks. So, and I'm in the middle, it's like 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm just outside, bro, at 7-Eleven. So they just, bro, that shit's so complicated. But so they arrested me, or they started arresting me on the shoplifting charge. And so I get in the car and stuff. They put the handcuffs behind my back, put me in the car. And so I think we were going to the jail, I think, or yeah, I think we were going to the jail. And so I can't really, it's hard to explain this without giving out like my city info and shit. But so we on the way to the jail from where the 7-Eleven is, and I know we on the way to the jail because it's like, this is how this shit happens. So we're on the way on this road, and then the cop pulls over, and I think they're just going to bag me up, throw me in the trash, and like kill me, and just put me in the trash and dispose of me. So he pulls over, and I forget what song was playing, but it was a song I liked, but then I was kind of bumping, but. And then I guess he had like a second like change of mind, like he didn't want to arrest me on the shoplifting or something. So he like turns around and then he drives to the police station. So, and it wasn't the exact way, like the way that we were taking was going to the jail. It wasn't going to the police station. We passed the police station pretty much. So he turns around, he goes back to the police station. There's a bunch of officers out there waiting and stuff. So they get me out the car, I guess, to go into the police station. And I forget I don't really know what they did, but I had my hands behind my back and hands behind my back in the handcuffs. So they like take something. I thought they like stuck my finger or something, and like I started freaking out after that, and I was like, then I started yelling like my city's name. I'm not gonna say it for obvious reasons, but I started yelling my city's name, and I'm like, cause I don't know, just the shit I've been through in the past couple of days, it was all crazy. So I was like, y'all need to wake up. I keep screaming like my city's name, and then they just start getting really aggressive with me, and then they get me on the ground. And the only reason why I remember this because the body cams again. So they got me on the ground, and apparently the officer, he had his hand up, and I go to like bite it or something, and then he was like, "Don't you fucking bite me, I'll punch your face in," or some shit. And that I only remember that because of the shit, the footage. But that's where they got me on battery on an officer. But in the video, it didn't even look like I really bit his hand, honestly. But anyways, so I'm on the ground, and there's all these officers around me, and after I guess try to bite his hand, they tie my feet up at the bottom, and then they throw me in the police car, and then I got handcuffed behind my back, and then I got this shit. I'm just laying down in the back of the police car. So then they transport me to the jail. So when I get in the jail, I go into booking and stuff, and then they put me into the holding cell with like, it's like 3 a.m. It's like 4, 5, I don't know. It's something, it's really, really early in the morning. But they throw me into the cell, and it's just a bunch of people sleeping. They throw me in one of the holding cells, and these holding cells, they're allowed to have like 10, 12 people in it. So there's hella people in it. So it's like a concrete joint like this, like a slab, and then there's like a little side right here. So I go in the cell, and then I put my mattress on like this side, and I just lay down, kind of sleep. And there's one, so then time passes. I'm just up, just kind of just staring off into space, and or just looking at people too, like kind of paranoid. And they so they finally get around to serving breakfast. So they serve breakfast and stuff, and they get a couple people out the cell. They start moving people because they go back to the pods and shit. So then I don't really know how to. So fuck, bro. I don't really know how to, like, what part to go on after this. So so they give us our breakfast and shit, and we're all making phone calls and stuff. And so I asked this one dude, I'm like, yo, can I switch you spots? He's over here on the concrete slab, and there's people on the ground too on the mattresses. And then I wanted his spot. I was like, yo, got his spot at first. He was like, nah. He's like, I'm there. I was like, all right, whatever. So then we chilling. It's probably like 7, 8 in the morning, and there's people just getting transported out. And so then this one dude comes in, he's already in the orange jumpsuit, so that means he was already back in the pods, and he was coming up to the front, like, to hold himself. So I don't know why he was in there or nothing, but he just made me really paranoid. So after he came in the cell, I started pacing, like, on the big-ass slab. I started getting up, start walking around on it, and I'm just, like, I still think there's, like, a bounty on my head and stuff, and I think people are trying to kill me, so I'm still just really paranoid. So I'm pacing around, and then the one dude, he actually gives me a spot. So he was like, yo, you can have it, you can go ahead. So I was like, all right. So I switch on spots, and so I go up on this little part of the concrete slab. I'm standing, and I start pacing around, and this one dude, oh yeah, I forgot to add this one part, but this one dude, when we all got breakfast, he was like, you good, bro, like, you don't have to worry about any of that shit. Like, I guess I was talking to him or something, but I don't remember saying anything to him. But that was probably just a big ass hallucination. But so we in a cell, and then they hand out pens and stuff so we can, like, write down numbers and you can call people and shit. So I remember I'm pacing because I'm just looking, like, to defend myself. And then this one dude, he was talking to me, he had a pen in his hand, and I, like, took it. I was like, I was going to, like, defend myself, like, stab someone or something with it if I had to. So I grabbed a pen, I start using, like, I keep pacing around the top, and so they probably just thought I was tripping, which I definitely was. But so I just keep pacing around at the top, and they and I keep kind of, like, putting the pen behind my back, switching hands and shit, putting it in my pocket, because actually they still had, like, your clothes, because it's a holding cell, so you actually had your regular clothes in there. And so I just keep pacing, bro, and I'm just paranoid as shit. And then the one officer comes up, and he's like, we need the pens. And so the one dude gives him the pen, and the other dude, I'll throw my shit on the ground. It goes to, like, the bottom of the door. And then he said some weird shit, but he was like, he's for the people or some shit. And I think that was just hallucination too, but that shit was just weird. But so long story short, so they put me back into a pod, and it seemed like it was dark outside, but I finally get back into a pod, and they're like, other people gonna be in here and stuff. I was like, yeah, I don't care. So then I'm looking at the door and all the little carvings people do in the jails and stuff, and this is just, I don't even really have to add this part, but it said there's one dude worked for the task force that I knew in juvenile lockup. And so, like I guess someone called or something. I think that was just a hallucination too. But so I'm in the cell for a little bit. Then I go through my bag because they give you a bag once you go back in the pods, and, like, hygiene and stuff, like your soap, toothpaste, and toothbrush and stuff. So I look in my bag, and I see they gave me a knotted blanket. And I don't know why, but I was like, I think they trying to get me to hang myself and stuff. So I was just in this paranoid state. So I was like, nah, fuck that. So I hit the button. I was like, nah, bro, they trying to get me to hang myself or something. I was like, I need to talk to someone. Then they don't even really like, I guess they don't even really like, I don't know if they know if something was going on or not, but they put me on suicide watch because I think they're trying to get me to hang myself. It's just dumb, but I wish I never would have went to that shit. This is where everything starts getting crazy. So shit, I'm on suicide watch for a while, bro, and I was like 28 days, and they I didn't have no, well, I barely got fed and shit, but that's just another part of the story. But so I'm on suicide watch for a minute, and there's like I just keep hearing all these crazy ass voices. I keep hearing a bunch of sexual voices. I hear a bunch of like so then like I heard like the officers talking back to me, like they were just talking shit, and then like some of them weren't talking shit. They were actually like saying like good things and shit. And so then I heard this one hallucination, like one of my aunts was like running to jail or something. I kept hearing her voice, and so that was just a weird part. But then, so long story short, bruh, I start just getting paranoid. I still think there's a bounty on my head, and so I'm just like, I'm still up. I haven't been asleep since like part one, if y'all haven't seen that. But I'm in the jail, and I woke up in a suicide blanket, and I still haven't been asleep since then. So I'm just, my whole idea is like to stay awake and just watch for anybody. Like I'm just like in a whole like self like defense mode. Like I'm just watching out for anybody. So I'm just staying awake and shit. And so it gets to this point when this shit's so weird, bro. It's like I want to add this too. Like this one dude said he had schizophrenia. One of my cellmates when I was on suicide watch when I came back. But he said like he put shit to the back of his head that had a cut to try to infect it so he would like kill himself. Like that's just some crazy shit that schizophrenia make you do. So like it's really honestly like you can just see and hear a bunch of crazy shit and like it's a crazy subject and like just mental illness. But so getting into that, what I was gonna say with that. So I don't know why, like I thought this was what I was supposed to do or something, but I throw like water on the ground, and they got me in the suicide blanket now since the little green thing. So because I was on suicide watch level 1 now, so I don't know why I thought I should do this, but I threw water on the ground from a cup, and then I started rolling in it. Like at the front of the door, and I keep hitting my head off the door, and I keep rolling in it. It seemed like I was there for like hours just doing that, bro, doing just the craziest shit. So I keep rolling and rolling, and then like the whole point of that was like for like self defense. I keep like looking up, making sure no one coming in my cell. I keep hitting my head off the fucking door by accident, not really by accident, but to make sure like no one is like in my cell. So after doing that for a while, like I turn around and there's a nigga like behind me, bro. So I'm like, oh shit. And the whole point that was for like to defend myself. I don't know why I was doing it at all. So I go to start fighting him back, and he's just not there no more. So that was just kind of a weird ass like thing I did, but in a weird ass like just schizophrenic like moment. But so time keeps going on, and then so I get up and I'm not rolling on the ground no more. I keep thinking like I have to keep going back and do it, so I keep like throwing water on the ground, but then I don't go on the ground. So it gets to this one point where I'm in here for 28 days. So there's so much like, or 27, 20, something like that. I'm just so much shit that like I seen and heard that like I don't even really want to talk about or that I even remember, but I do remember a lot. Like I was looking at walls, staring at walls, hearing voices from like the ceilings, the radios, everything. So I get to this one point where I think they're trying like um I think they were trying to give me to drink piss or something, but I don't know why. But like they kept giving me like this juice, and it was I think it was apple juice or some shit. But they keep giving me this juice, and it was like yellow, and I was like, hell no, I ain't drinking that shit. That shit piss. But then so I don't even the time on this shit's kind of crazy because like I was in there for a month, and then it's kind of hard thinking like how much time I really spent doing each little thing, because I lost track of time. There was a clock, but I definitely lost track of time in the days. I didn't have no outside like the window or nothing to see the outside, to see the days turn night or nothing. So I'm in the cell just tripping out, bro. And so it gets to this one point, I drink the little thing. It tasted sweet, but then my whole vision goes like yellow, and then like I sit here like this. I'm on phase 2 now, I think, where I have clothes, and then the suicide blanket was still in my cell for some weird reason. So I actually have the orange jumpsuit on, and then I'm in clothes, but then I have my blanket. So I put the blanket over me, and I'm like this, like, and then I was thinking about like the movie Wanted. If you ever watched that, and then I watched that in the mental hospital. It was kind of a cool movie, but it was kind of like some action movie shit and like some hyper focus shit. But so I was sitting in the blanket, under the blanket, like the blanket was over me. I was looking through the blanket like this, just thinking I have like superpowers and shit. So I'm doing that shit for a minute. I keep thinking like Suicide Squad 2, like I have from the mental hospital. I watched that shit in the mental hospital, but that's on to the later parts of the story. But so I'm over here thinking my whole vision turns yellow. I think I got superpowers and shit. And then I hear people. Like there's this little glass room behind us too, and and so I think like the superintendent from the juvenile facility that I was in before, I thought she was there trying to like help me and talk to them. And then like I don't know, it was just a bunch of weird shit. And then like one of the voices were like, this one dude got like 100 years for selling weed, and it was like, why would he get 100 years for selling weed? It was just weird shit. And like she was talking back there and shit. And this one dude came out the back room. He said some weird shit. Like he came out while a bunch of inmates were around and stuff, and he like pointed at me and says, I think it was just a big ass hallucination, but he just said some weird ass sexual shit. And he said I did it or something. I was like, oh hell no. And then so these people probably think I'm crazy now or something, but. Anyways, bro, it's just a bunch of shit that happened in this cell, bro. Like, I was really just staring at walls and shit and hearing all these crazy voices. And then, so they start putting people in my cells. I'm on phase 2, and I have my clothes, and then I have the blanket, the suicide blanket, still in the cell. So they put this one dude in the cell, and yeah, he wasn't really, he talked shit a little bit to me, and then like, I don't think he really talked shit, but I took like, so this one time I took his book, and then he had like glasses and a book and stuff, and I didn't have nothing, so I'm just sitting there tweaking. Like they ain't give me no books, they ain't offer me a shower or nothing for these 20-some days, and I'm just sitting in here just pretty much dying like shit. But so I took his book for a little bit, and then he kind of asked me, he's like, yo, you gonna give me my book? He's like, give me my book back. And I'm sitting here, I'll go back and I'll sit down, and I'm just like, I ain't giving this nigga his book. But then he just kind of sits there in silence. He just stares at me, and I'm just like, you know what, bro, here, bro. He's like, I'm leaving in a couple days, you can get it then. So he leaves, and then I start reading the book, and it was really weird. Like it was like the book was like talking to me and shit. And I get to like page 22, 23, and it said that like someone got shot, and then all he saw was darkness, and it was like just like nothing. And then I don't know, I got to that part of the book, and I was like, yo, fuck this book, bro. Like, and it had like flames on the outside of the book and shit, kind of like the head, but but shit, I don't even know, bro. This shit's just all kind of crazy to me. But so I get the book, and then I'll throw that shit under from my cell. I'm like, fuck this, bro. I don't want to feel like reading this. So they put another person in my cell, finally. And after a little bit, and this is a person that keeps talking shit to me. And so he just keeps talking shit to me, and then he keeps standing at the door. So I think he's like trying to, this is so weird, bro, but like, I think he's trying to like prove a point or something. Keep standing at the door. I think he's trying to get like canines to come up to the door. And like, you ever seen, this is one hood movie, and it's like where you have to walk the plank where like an animal bites off your dick. So I thought this nigga was trying to get me to like come to the door and like trying to get the like I thought they had canines in the jail. I thought they were gonna like bite off my dick and shit, bro. That shit was weird as hell. But So, and then I thought he was a sex offender and everything, and that shit was just weird as hell. But so he and myself for a little bit, and long story short, bro, I don't really want to get too descriptive about this and shit, just cause, and I really feel like really bad about it, and it kind of still fucks with me to this day. But I end up trying to hurt the dude really bad, so I don't really want to go into like detail, but I end up hurting the dude pretty bad. And then he yells for help. He's like, help. And then the officers, they run the door, they open the door. He's coming, boom, hit me. And then I don't remember when they did this, but I remember it happening. But they took my like hands and put it behind my back and put my hands like through the tray slot where they feed you your food. And I forgot to add too. They actually started feeding me a little bit when I started getting people in my cell. I actually got food. Like I wasn't getting food or nothing either. They said I was on a hunger strike, but I don't remember. I don't remember like denying any food or anything. But so fuck. What was I trying to say? So, bruh. He yells up for help, and they put my hands behind my tray slot like this, and they slit my wrist. I'm gonna show y'all real quick. Y'all can see it, but y'all probably can't see that shit. But it's scarred up now, but this shit, yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit right there. But they slit the shit out of my wrist, bruh. And the correctional officers did. And then after that, bruh, I was still in the same cell, and he had left his blanket behind. They put him in a different cell, and then so I like started using his blanket. It was so dirty, but like that's just like a dirty thing to even say, but it's true. But so I could see him in the reflection too. I always seeing a lot of things in the reflection too. This like glass door I was in front, because I'm at the front of the jail. I'm in the suicide watch cell, so there's a front desk right there, and there's officers always on duty type shit. So like, so they switch us cells and shit, and then they put me into a new cell when I have my wrist slit and shit. I'm gonna try to show y'all this shit again, just cause I can't really. Yeah, y'all can see it a little bit, but it's really scarred up now. But that shit's fucked up, bro. But so they put me in a cell, and I have my wrist slit, and I'm just laying down, and then I just start like freaking out and shit. And they cut off my water, and so still had like they were still giving me food and shit, but they cut off my water. So it was like pretty much PTSD from part one, where I was like what they happened to me in part one. If y'all want to go watch it, you can. I don't feel like going into detail, but they cut off my water, and I still had a cup. And if y'all want to guess what I did next, y'all can, but I don't feel like talking about it. So then there's just so much more shit that happened and stuff that a lot of it I do remember, and it just really fucks with me, honestly. I really don't feel like talking about it. But so I'm in the cell for a little bit, and then they finally, out of nowhere, they open the tray slot, and they're like, come on. They say my last name, like Truex. They're like, come on, Truex. And I was like, hell no. Nah. Like, y'all just slipped my wrist through the tray slot. Like, I'm not about to get cuffed to the tray slot again. Hell no. Nah. And I'm pretty sure they cuffed my hands or some shit. But so they were like, come on, Truex, let's go. And I was like, oh, hell no. Nah. So then I was hearing voices too. They said they were going to come down and get me when it's time to go. I was like, y'all just said you're all going to come get me. So then they opened the door. They hit the little control button. They opened the door, and then they start getting me out the jail, and they start transporting me. And that leads up to the next story. But that's honestly it for today, bro. Then the next part's me going to the mental hospital. So that's where they finally, I guess, realized something was really wrong with me, and they sent me to the fucking mental hospital. A hospital I've been to before, but that's just for another day and another story. But stay tuned for part 4, I guess. Yeah, I know this part was long as shit, and there's a lot more shit that happened, but I mean, I'll talk to y'all about it if y'all want to comment or anything, or just anything. If y'all wanna, y'all have mental illnesses or anything y'all wanna reach out to me about and talk to, I'll be happy to just communicate with y'all or anything. But yeah, that's it for me today. Be safe, y'all. Peace.